Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Today we are going to answer a question many of you have had. What is the best international food in Walt Disney World? So as we know, Disney World has hundreds and hundreds of restaurants, but a lot of you want to know where you can get sort of unique, specialty, out of the ordinary, not just American or comfort food in Disney World, and we've got the answer for you today. We've got tons of great suggestions for African, Indian, French, Italian, even Moroccan food to try when you're in Disney World, for those of you who have a more adventurous palate or just want to try something new and different when you're in Disney World. Okay, let's get started. First up, believe it or not, Disney World has some incredible African and Indian options right now. You're going to find most of these, of course, over at Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is a beautiful resort hotel in Disney World. Definitely worth visiting. I love checking out all of the animals there. They've got a nighttime night vision animal viewing option. It's really, really cool. You can absolutely go to the hotels if you're not staying there, by the way. A lot of people don't realize that you're welcome to go to the hotels even if you're not staying there. So we're going to start over at Sanaa. You guys know I love Sanaa. It's one of my favorite restaurants, definitely underrated. Not enough people know about it. This is that restaurant over in Kidani Village in Animal Kingdom Lodge, and it's got a great view of the savannah. All of the animals are out there. Definitely go at lunchtime. Don't go at dinner because you might not be able to see them if it's dark. So go at lunchtime to get that great animal view. Here you're going to have tons of great Indian-inspired dishes, African-inspired dishes, and their bread service is absolutely killer and definitely something you have to try if you're a fan of breads and sauces. This is a must-do. I love their naan bread there, especially their spicy naan bread. They have a naan bread with a spicy butter, which is so good. So other favorites at Sanaa for me, the butter chicken has always been a favorite. It's very hard for me to not order the butter chicken every time I'm there. They have a pretty good Boer Wars sausage sandwich right now. We were just there. My family was just there a couple of weeks ago. All of us had excellent dishes, so definitely look through the menu. Ask all the questions that you have, because you may have a few questions when you're reading through the menu. It's not like standard Disney fare there. And so definitely check it out and head over to Sanaa if you have an open lunch. Definitely something to do. Boma at Animal Kingdom Lodge. This is a guest favorite. This is a African-inspired buffet meal for breakfast and dinner. You've got fun eats like babooti, several incredible soups that they have on a specific soup schedule. So find out what that schedule is. Dips and spreads, pap, chakalaka, lots of different options that you may know if you have traveled in Africa. But of course, they have plenty for picky eaters as well. And if you do have some pickier eaters, you may want to try breakfast because they have a lot more recognizable things, recognizable to those of us, growing up here in America, on their breakfast menu than on their dinner menu, but both are really good. This restaurant has sort of been not as awesome as it used to be for me the past few times I've been there, but it's still a decent option, especially if you're trying to entertain a lot of different types of palates. Jiko is next door to Boma. That's also in Animal Kingdom Lodge. This is the signature restaurant, or their fancier restaurant in Animal Kingdom Lodge. This one has been hit or miss for me, but my most recent visit a few weeks ago was amazing. They, of course, have my favorite filet, and they have mac and cheese on the side. Don't forget, if you want the classic mac and cheese, you can get that from the kids menu. They do still have it, and you can request it. But they have an elk dish here that's awesome. They've got a boar appetizer that's so good. Everything from the decor elements of the restaurant to the bread service, everything is so excellent, and definitely something that is out of the ordinary for a typical Walt Disney World comfort food or American restaurant. So this is going to service lots of different palates as well. Harambe Market over in Animal Kingdom. This is a counter service location where you're going to get a variety of different eats. They just introduced brand new bowls here, which seems to be kind of a major Disney trend. I'm seeing bowls everywhere, customizable bowls, so that's great. But again, you're going to get some African flavors and spices, some Indian flavors and spices here as well. Definitely worth a try if you're in Animal Kingdom. And then finally the Mara, which again is over in Animal Kingdom Lodge. This is the counter service location there. And while they do have a crispy chicken BLT on the menu, they also have an African stew and a tamarind pork sandwich. The zebra domes here, which are classic desserts from Boma upstairs, you can find them in the refrigerator. Here, this is an amarula cream sort of dessert that you either love or hate, but many of our fans and followers love it. So the Mara, I think, is fantastic. Don't forget, the Mara also has that jungle juice slush that you used to be able to get in Animal Kingdom, and now it's sort of moved over here. We can't seem to find it in Animal Kingdom as often. So if you want that, you're going to head over here to the Mara to get it. Heading over to some French options. Most of these are going to be in the France Pavilion in Epcot, of course. The folks that run these restaurants are authentic, you guys. They know the French cuisine scene like the back of their hand. They've been in the midst of this for their whole lives. So I'm often very impressed with who Disney has sort of running these restaurants in the Epcot pavilions. So first up, we'll talk about Chefs de France, which is sort of the mid-priced restaurant. This is the one that's a bistro, really, and you're going to have great views from those window tables of the World Showcase Lagoon and the promenade. Here you're going to have things like great charcuterie cheese plates, flatbreads, macaroni and cheese, steak frites, steak tartare, some really good bistro-style dining in the French cuisine bent. I really like this restaurant. I find it always pretty enchanting. Going upstairs to Monsieur Paul. Monsieur Paul is the signature restaurant here. Very fancy, very expensive. You're going to get plenty of escargot, which, by the way, you can also get downstairs at Chefs de France. An incredibly expensive truffle soup here, red snapper, duck breast, lots of good options on the menu. This is definitely an anniversary, birthday kind of place because it is pricey. But if you love French cuisine, this is a place that you want to go. Downstairs and in the back of the pavilion is Les Halles, which is of course the boulangerie, patisserie here in the France Pavilion in Epcot. This place is incredible. It's huge. It looks like a straight up food hall underneath one of those top department stores in London, Paris, Tokyo. I mean, incredible food options here. Beautiful food options here. So we're going to have eclairs, frangipane, ham and cheese baguettes, macarons, sandwiches, soups. So you can do a full meal here. You can definitely do a lunch or a dinner here. Breakfast is awesome here. They open at 9 a.m. when the rest of the rest of World Showcase opens at 11. So you can come in here for breakfast, mimosas, and things like that. So Les Halles, definitely a highly recommended location for us here at DFB. Heading over to Italian. This is a long section because they have added so much Italian dining in Walt Disney World in the past few years. For a while there, all we had was Tutto Italia in the Italy Pavilion, but now we've got Via Napoli, Tutto Italia, Tutto Gusto in the Italy Pavilion. Over in Disney Springs, there's Terralina, Maria and Enzo's Hideaway. And I just feel like the Italian restaurant genre has just opened up amazingly in Walt Disney World. So some of our favorites, Via Napoli has some great pizza, definitely an option for pizza. They do have some pastas there as well. Tutto Gusto is going to be your wine bar or your wine cave, and this one is a good place to go if you have no reservations. You just want to take a load off and relax for a little bit, get a wine flight, get a panini. Just had the meatballs there the other day. So good. Those meatballs were amazing. Tutto Italia next door is the larger restaurant. It is still a 1 credit option, but that's where you're going to get some of your fancier Italian food. And then over to Disney Springs, Terralina Crafted Italian is decent. It's kind of the same thing that it used to be when it was Portobello. It is celebrity chef Tony Mantuano is in charge over there creating the menu. He's not in the kitchen every day, but there are some good options here if you're in Disney Springs, and you can usually get a reservation as well. Maria and Enzo's Hideaway in Disney Springs are 2 options that are part of the Patina Group, who also run the Italy Pavilion restaurants in Epcot and the Edison as well in Disney Springs. Maria and Enzo's Hideaway have very similar food options, very similar quality. It's good, it's decent, probably not something I would return to over and over again, but it's fine if you're searching for Italian, and these places have reservations available. If you're headed to Maria and Enzo's, definitely get those cheese fritters. The chicken parm is really, really good. And then Enzo's Hideaway is a place to go if you really are into old-fashioned mixology. If you want some Prohibition-era drinks, that's where you're gonna go, is Enzo's Hideaway downstairs. Okay, Japanese and sushi. Lots of good options here now. We used to only have Teppan Edo and Tokyo dining in the Japan Pavilion, but now we've got Morimoto Asia, we've got Kimonos over at the Swan Resort, and these have all just proved to be extremely authentic opportunities for Japanese food. Morimoto Asia is probably one of my favorite places to dine in Disney World right now. The Wagyu beef upcharge here is totally worth it. I love the Wagyu beef here. They bring it out and they cook it tableside. It's incredible. incredible. The Peking duck is killer here. So again, not necessarily Japanese food, that's more of a Chinese option because this is sort of an Asian fusion location, but the Peking duck is great. They've got ramen, they've got tempura, pretty much any kind of Asian food you like, they're gonna have here. And of course they have Morimoto's famous ribs. They've got those here in the restaurant and also outside at the street food location. Teppan Edo is basically your Benihana, but it's super fun. Great place to bring a family, especially a larger family, because I think they seat about 8 to 10 people around those tables. That's a blast. Everybody's gonna like that. The kids are gonna love it because it's basically a big show. The food is always really excellent. So I love Teppan Edo. Even though it's your typical hibachi, it's still really, really good and definitely a good family experience to have together with your loved ones. Tokyo Dining, right next to Teppan Edo, is definitely your sushi location. This is going to be more authentic Japanese food. So if you're not into sushi, if you're not into Japanese food, this is not the place for you, but they do a great job with it if you are. So definitely head over to Tokyo Dining for that. Don't forget you can get a decent view of illuminations from Tokyo Dining as well. Kimonos in the Swan is a great sort of bar and lounge where they do sushi, but they also have karaoke. So if you love karaoke, that's where you want to go, over to Kimonos. And don't forget the Japan Pavilion is building a brand new restaurant right now as well. We're not sure what the specs are going to be on that one, but we think it's going to be higher end food. So waiting on information for that. All right, heading over to the Mexican food genre. There are several great Mexican restaurants in Walt Disney World. One of my favorites is in the Epcot Mexico Pavilion, La Hacienda de San Angel. I love this restaurant, mostly because they have a soup on the menu that I just am in love with, and I can't find anything like it anywhere else. It's the crema de elote soup, so it's basically a cream of corn soup, but it's amazing over there at Hacienda. They also have some great dishes. It's a little bit pricey for what you get, but if you consider the fact that you can get a great view of illuminations, great shareable platters with your family, and some awesome margaritas, great mixology there, it's definitely worth it in my book to go at least once. The other Mexican restaurant in the Mexico Pavilion is San Angel Inn. This one is not as good, doesn't get as good reviews, and this one is usually either 100% on top of it or completely missing the game. So this is a sketchy one to use your table service credit on because you really don't know what you're going to get. So I'd probably choose Hacienda over San Angel Inn in the Mexico Pavilion. When it comes to counter service dining in the Mexico Pavilion, you're going to head to Cantina de San Angel and La Choza de Margarita. These are two locations that are going to give you a few food items. Cantina will give you full sort of lunch and dinner items, whereas Choza has more of tapas options, and also great margaritas at those two locations as well. So those are both kind of counter service or grab and go. Inside the Mexico Pavilion, you've got La Cava del Tequila, one of my favorites, as you know. Amazing mixology here. It just boggles my mind when I talk to these guys who run the mixology program there, how knowledgeable they are, how much information they have about sotol, mezcals, tequilas, everything that's coming out of Mexico from a beverage perspective. They have a handle on it and they are giving you the best possible options. So much fun, so innovative in there. Definitely go to La Cava if you have the opportunity. And then, of course, over at Coronado Springs Resort, you've got Maya Grill, which I don't really recommend. It's not one of my favorite dining options, and it's really far away from everything, so it's kind of hard to get there anyway. But you do have La Grandestino Tower opening up soon there at Coronado Springs, where you're going to have several new dining locations. We can't wait for those to open, and we will be there as soon as they do. And then we'll head over to the Moroccan Eats. These are mostly going to be, of course, in the Morocco Pavilion in Epcot as well. Restaurant Marrakesh is an authentic Moroccan restaurant. Really great food. If you like Moroccan food, this is really decent stuff. They've got a belly dancer. They've got live musicians. It's a really fun experience to have with your family. I love it. Tangierine Café is going to be your counter service location here. Again, guest favorite, especially if you are on a vegan or vegetarian diet. There's lots of great options for you here. Authentic food, people really love it. And then Spice Road Table is my new favorite in this pavilion. Spice Road Table is over there right next to the World Showcase Lagoon. You get a great view of the lagoon, great view of illuminations, outdoor seating as well. I find this place to be really good. I love their spicy shrimp. I love their fried shrimp. They have some good skewers, goat cheese, plenty of good kind of Mediterranean options here. Lots of great wines as well. This is probably one of my more highly recommended restaurants in Epcot, so I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments. So as you can see, there's lots of great international food options in Walt Disney World. A lot of people go there thinking it's just going to be burgers, fries, and pizza, but not at all. There's lots of good options for more adventurous palates. But even if you do go to these restaurants, there's going to be choices for people who would rather stay in their comfort zone when it comes to food as well, so don't worry about that at all. So we hope this has helped. Please let us know in the comments your favorite sort of international food options in Walt Disney World. I always learn from you guys, and I can't wait to hear your experiences. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Vlog, and we'll see you real soon.